Hey guys, Jacob here, and today I wanted to talk to you guys about the half marathon time trial that I did yesterday in an attempt to set a personal best, which was a success, but I'll get to that later. For now, I just wanted to talk to you about the weeks coming up to yesterday, the race. And so starting off, Boston Marathon was canceled about a month ago, and so I decided that I wanted to do a race on my own anyways because I didn't want to let all this fitness go to waste, all this hard work that I put into the sport up to that day of the cancellations. So I decided to start my 2 week taper right then and do a race that happened to occur yesterday because of bad weather a few days before, which is when I initially had planned to do it. But nonetheless, that became the plan. So I started my taper, did maintain my speed, maybe increased it a little bit maybe, but decreased the mileage as you should in a taper. Um, and then, so let's just go to the day of. So that morning, got up, had my typical little meal I had um, before races and stuff, which is, consists of like a bagel and peanut butter and banana and then just lots of water. And that was about 3 hours before. And then a couple hours later, we headed out to go to the Lancaster County Northwest River Trail, which is a pretty nice paved trail. It's not crushed gravel or anything, which I wanted for it because I wanted to race in my Vaporfly 4% Flyknits, which I had purchased recently on sale for 186. So was able to whip those out for that as it was a paved trail and a very nice one, pretty flat, but there's a catch to that, and I'll get to that. So yeah, we were driving up, and we went to the wrong place. We thought that the undeveloped trail was now developed because there was a part on the map that said there was undeveloped trail that was like towards the end, and I wanted to go to the end as far as I could so that I could go one way out instead of just an out and back, or at least lessen the out and back. So we decided to drive down a couple more miles so it could be less of an out and back. And then we just realized that we were at the completely wrong place. So we eventually made our way to the intended location, destination that we wanted to be at, which was kind of a mess, but we got there. I was a little anxious because I had done a warm up when we went to the wrong place the first time. But then we were like, oh, let's go farther down because there's this developed trail. So I had to do another little warm up, and then we got started. So I did that short little warm up, and then I did some strides and I did some stretching, quick dynamic stretches, and then we got into the workout, or rather the race. And that's when chaos ensued. Um, so we'll start at mile one and go from there. So around from miles 1 to 2.5, the trail had a lot of gnats, and there was these huge clouds of them. Um, Thankfully, I had a hat, so I was eventually able to just twist the hat around so it would go in front of me. I had it backwards, but I flipped it around because the gnats were hitting me in the face, and it was like they were going in my eyes, and I swallowed a few, and it was just not a great start to the half marathon. Getting all these gnats in my face, these huge gnat clouds just all across it, which I guess makes sense because it's along the river and it's getting warmer weather. But it was pretty, it was pretty unpleasant. First couple miles there, just getting these gnats in my face until I turned the cap around. Then it was fine. So around miles 2.5 in, we're cresting the peak of this little rolly hill. Because the trail was a little rolly, and the area in front is flooded. Like it dips down really low near the river, and it was flooded, which I should have suspected because the river was already higher up than it normally is. So I had to turn around, and I didn't want to run that thing 5 times and a little more because so 2.5 out, and then I'd have to keep doing that back and forth about 5.5 times just to get a half marathon. And I was kind of freaking out. I was like, I have no idea what I'm going to do. I don't have a plan, a backup. So I had to kind of come up with a plan on the fly while I was running. So I was maybe around 4 miles in after freaking out a bit, I was pretty mad. I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I want to still do a half. I still want to finish and do it. So I decided to cut onto a road, which would take me all the way past where the flooding was, and then I could get back onto the trail and resume it from there. So I cut onto this road and what was going down, and it was pretty hilly. So this was around miles 5.5 to 8. Um, yeah, around mile. So it was 2.5 out on the trail and then 2.5 back. So that was about 5. So by the time I got to this road that I was going along for a while, I was around 5.5 miles. Um, so it sounded like a great idea in theory. I was like, oh, I'll just hit the road and I'll get back on. But I didn't know that what the hills were gonna be like, because I'm unfamiliar with that area. It's a new trail to me, a new area. So it was a little hilly. It was pretty hilly. I think my elevation gain was 174 feet. I saw on the run, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it felt like a lot at the pace I was going, which was about 540 at the time, 537. So yeah, around miles 5.5 to 8, I was on the roads and it was pretty hilly. And around mile 8, I got a really bad cramp, and I think it was because I did something that I normally don't do, which is I took a one of the gels, like goo, about 30 minutes before the race. Which I normally don't do that, so I don't know why I did it, but I thought it was a good idea, so I did it, and I even felt a little bit of a little subtle cramp before I even started the race. And I think it might have been because of that, because I drank a lot of water and I already ate a decent meal about 2.5 hours before the race. And now on top of that, I had this goo, which is a thicker substance in my system. I don't think that was a great idea, and I think that's what did me in that mile 8. I just had this huge cramp, and I was like, I'm literally screaming in pain. It hurt so bad. So the cramps plus the hill was just not a good combo. And I was at that point, I was like, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to get a half in me right now with this cramp. Like, I was pushing hard. I was like, I just wanted to stop at that point with this cramp in the hills, and I was just like, oh my gosh, everything's going bad. But like the pacing was still there, so it was like, okay, whatever. I'm just gonna push through it. And thankfully, about 10 miles in, the pain started to go away. It was mostly gone by mile 10. It was pretty much all gone by 9.5 in. So the cramp lasted about a mile to a mile and a half, and it was really bad during that duration. But then it slowly went away and was pretty much all gone by mile 10, by 10 miles in. So I was able to push through the last 3.1 and get the half in. And I'll show you guys a clip actually of me at mile 12 running by my sister and dad who were helping with videoing at the time there.
What's the mileage?
12 something. 12.
Okay.
Keep going.
Yeah, I felt really good the last 3.1. For what it's worth, I was a little fatigued because that was a faster pace that I wasn't even sure I was gonna be able to hold what I did. But I managed to do that. Closed in the last mile, I think 5:30, so that brought my average pace down to 5:39 for the time trial, which I think which converts to a 1:14:07 half according to Strava officially. And I was really happy with that because my goal was just 5:45 pace, which I think is a 1:16. So I almost was 2 seconds faster than what my goal was, which I even thought was a stretch at the time. So despite all the things that went wrong that run, and it also, I had a really bad blister on my right foot because I think the Vaporflies were a little tight, so I actually sent them back. I'm going to get a pair and a half size up. But yeah, just all those things, all these obstacles, and I still was able to pull through and get a PR, which I was super happy with. I couldn't be more happy with the outcome of it. And I guess afterwards, I just did a mile and a half cool down, did some quick stretching, rolling out, got my nice recovery shoes on, the glycerins here, which are perfect for my easy miles. And then we headed out and went to Smoothie King, got a nice smoothie, and pretty much the rest of the day just was rolling out, stretching, trying to take care of the legs after a hard effort. And today, I must say that I'm definitely a lot more sore than I was yesterday, which is usually how it is. Usually the day after a race, you're a little more sore than you were the initial hours after a race. And yeah, that is the case for me. Pretty sore going upstairs right now. It's pretty rough. but just continue to take care of the legs at this point. And yeah, that is pretty much it about my half marathon time trial yesterday. I'll make sure to show you guys the um, Strava post. I'll put it up here somewhere, maybe just in the entire screen. So some proof that I actually was able to do that. I actually did that. That was me who did that. But yeah, it was a good effort, and I am really happy about it, considering the circumstances and how it didn't go anywhere near how I'd expected. The fact that I expected to be able to just go point to point, or maybe it wasn't quite point to point. I would have to go like 2 miles back at the end, but that still would have been way better than what I did, because I'd be on a pretty flat trail the whole time. So I don't know. I don't want to sound crazy or anything, but I think I could have done 5:35 pace average, maybe a little faster even if everything went as planned. But again, that you can't always expect that, especially since I'd only run on that trail once before. So frankly, it wasn't the best idea, but I just really wanted to get my Vaporflies on, and that was the only like long paved asphalt only trail that I knew of in my general area of York. So yeah. Oh, I thought one of my parents was coming down. Nope. Okay. um, but yeah, I think also that it's encouraging that I was able to do this on my own with a little bit of help from my dad and mom, who biked in front of me. Um, so I'm glad that they were able to help me with that, and even my dad was able to get me a gel and some water around mile 4 of that, which was very helpful. I'm glad I had them for that, but it still makes me excited for the future of half marathons that I'll do, because being able to have competition, I'm sure, will be a big help in the future. And I think we'll see. I would like to see if I could hold like five a 5:30 with competition in the future. I think it's doable. I think it is. And there is some half marathons that I have in mind in the future, including the one for the organization that my Pit Club XC team is a part of, which is called NERCA, the National Intercollegiate Running Club Association. And they hold a half marathon in the during the track season in spring at the end, which that is hosted every year. And so I think that could be a good opportunity for me to see what I can do next year. Hopefully, we'll see. Hopefully, something a little faster than what I did yesterday, the 1:14:07. But yeah, that is all for this video, and I hope that you guys enjoyed my little rant, a little ramble on the everything that happened yesterday, and the days up to that. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did, feel free to like and subscribe. We'd be much appreciated. I'm really just doing this for fun. Keep track of my life, my running life here on this channel, but also I want to be able to help you guys and help you with your running goals, and hopefully be able to answer some questions and such, kind of like how some other YouTubers do it. Like Seth is the one that comes to my mind. Seth James Demore, who I look up to. He's a runner. He's a really fast guy, and he's very nice guy and inspirational. So I look to be like him, and YouTubers like him who are able to help give something to the community also. So it's not just a way for me to track, myself and my running history. I want to be able to help you guys grow as runners and be involved in this community. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Have a good day, and I'll see you later.